Will spending 12 grand on a bike make you faster when you can get something similar for 4 grand? And even if it does, is it worth it? We're going to find out by putting this Specialized S-Works Tarmac SL8, a top-of-the-line racer, up against this Elves Vanyar Pro Disc, a top-value road bike that boasts most of the same features. But who do you think will win in this battle of David versus Goliath? Let's find out. Right, the first test is climbing. The Elves weighs a little bit more than the Specialized, which is the biggest factor when it comes to going up steeper gradients. This is a very simple test. I'm going to ride a climb of 1.5 kilometers somewhere over there on both bikes at 300 watts. Look who's been training. We're going to see if there's been a time difference. Right, let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, God, that's a noisy free hub. Well, that's the climb done on both bikes. Now, before you jump into the comments, I only did one run, so this isn't scientific. I have to note that these results aren't exactly statistically significant either, but there was a difference. The Elves, well, it went up in 4 minutes, 51 seconds. Spending 8 grand more on the Specialized saved me 9 seconds. There are two ways to look at this. The first is that the Elves is only a little slower, which is great. If you're not worried about a few seconds, then save your money. But if you do care about marginal gains, there is a clear time saving. If those seconds help you to win a race or achieve your goals, then maybe it's an expense that you want to pay. Right then, let's move on. Some aerodynamics. When it comes to aerodynamics, there is a clear difference between these two bikes. Elves is a relatively small brand and it doesn't have masses of cash to spend on wind tunnel time or supercomputer CFD simulations. In fact, the Vanyar Pro Disc got none of those in its design phase. Specialized, meanwhile, is a massive company and the Tarmac SL8 was basically born, went to school and graduated in a wind tunnel. So what difference does it make? I'll be riding a 2-kilometer stretch at 250 watts to see if there is a time difference between the two bikes. I've tried my best to get the bike positions as close as possible to each other. I'll also keep my arms kind of locked down like this, but it doesn't take an aero expert to see that this isn't a flawless test. There are big differences in the wheel sets, for example. Enough said, on with the testing. So like the climbing test, we have to remember that I only did one run on each bike. So take the result with a very big pinch of salt. There are other factors than just aero at play as well. Rolling resistance, bearings, frame, wheel interaction, fit to the bike, the list goes on. But with the runs done, we again have a clear, if very small, difference. The SL8 was just 2 seconds faster. My average speeds were so close. And honestly, I didn't really feel a difference, but I'm quite tired now, so that's enough testing. Let's line the bikes up and compare the builds. Both of these bikes have full carbon frames and forks. Both have fully integrated front ends and both have carbon tubeless ready wheels. In fact, both use an electronic group set and hydraulic disc brakes, but look closely and there are some key differences. The Elves has Shimano's Ultegra Di2, which is going to be heavier than the SRAM Red group set that you'll find on the Tarmac SL8. Personally, I'd probably stick with the Ultegra Di2 as SRAM Red is just way more expensive and it won't save you that much weight. In fact, which one would you pick? Let us know down in the comments below. Now, the wheels on the SL8 are the highly regarded Rovo Rapid CLX2s. These are far deeper and wider than the Elves Vanyar TH30 wheels on the Elves. The former might be a better option for all-round speed, while the latter, having reviewed the Elves myself, was a bit more at home on the hills. While both bikes come equipped with a one-piece cockpit, to my eyes, the Rovo system on the SL8 is just a more elegant affair. It's just that chunky stem on the Elves looks just a little hefty to me. That said, when we get to the saddle, Elves should be applauded. This has a 3D printed upper, a carbon base and carbon rails. I've been super happy testing it and it costs just 137 quid. Now compare that to the S-Works power saddle on the SL8. It too has a carbon base and rails, but it will set you back 255 quid. If you want the version with a 3D printed upper, that will cost you a whopping 350 quid. For a lot of people, I think the main highlight though of the Elves, aside from the price, is the fact that you can have it custom painted for free. If you're one of those people that bemoans all black bikes, then this is really something to consider. And for what it's worth, I think that both bikes look really, really cool. Value is such a tricky one to talk about, but I don't think I can avoid it when we're comparing a superbike to a much cheaper option. Now for me, the Elves represents much better value for money for recreational riders. If like me, you just enjoy going for bike rides, then 4 grand is a far more reasonable price to pay. The Elves still gives you a carbon frame, disc brakes, tubeless ready wheels, and a cable-free front end. The Tarmac, well, it is a bit faster and it feels a little comfier to me, but are these differences worth 8 grand? Not to me. If you really care about going as fast as possible, then the SL8 is going to help. And if you want to spend the money, then cool. It is your cash after all. So yes, you can buy more speed if you want, but the age-old issue of diminishing returns applies. So spend your money wisely. If I was choosing between these two bikes, then it'd have to be the Elves. But I wouldn't buy it before seriously considering a cheaper Tarmac SL8, like the £6,000 Expert model. But which of these two bikes would tempt you the most? Let me know down in the comments. As ever, please remember to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe. It really does help us out. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see the SL8 up against the Canyon Ultimate, just click here.